Bears. Bears Country Podcast. Welcome to Bears Country Podcast, Bears Browns Postgame. I know it's only preseason, but holy shit, did Justin Fields just shut up some of the haters? I mean, did he just shut up some of the haters? The dude only went 14 of 16 for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns with a 146.9 rating in 2 fucking quarters of play. I know it's just the Browns in preseason. I know we didn't have Myles Garrett and we didn't have Jadeveon Clowney playing in the game, but those passes that Justin Fields threw for the touchdowns were brilliant. They were beautifully thrown balls. The offensive line had some issues in the beginning with some pass protection, with some run blocking, but they pulled it together and they scored 3 touchdowns out of 5 drives. What more can you ask for out of almost an entire half of play from your starting offense with a quarterback who the entire nation has been shitting all over for the entire last how many months? I can't say it enough. I think we all need to start to realize at this moment that the Justin Fields era has begun. Let's stop poo-pooing all over Justin Fields. Let's realize that it's a process. Let's just take into account what happened to tonight. I don't give a shit if it's preseason or not. It was still a dress rehearsal for the start of the season. I am fired up. Nomad, calm me down, please.
I don't know. I might need a Louisville Slugger to slap your ass upside the head to calm you down, but
it might not be down a peg right now, Nomad. It might.
That might not work, man. Jesus. All I can tell you is, Kitty, if you see that motherfucker anywhere near a coffee pot anytime soon, beat the shit out of him. Because he... No, man, I understand, man. It's a lot of... I was feeling the same way, man, but I told you, man, me and Jameson then tapered it down a little bit. I've come down a little bit, plus some organics I got going on over here. And it's a lot to be excited about. And remember, guys, it's whatever we saw out there was extremely vanilla. We don't know what they have up their sleeve.
Thank you.
And he was able to execute with a very vanilla. Go ahead, man, get him.
No, I'm just listening to you. I'm just giving you the emojis. Preach it, man, preach it.
There was a lot of good shit to see out there. A lot of good shit, man. The offensive line, I think, looked the best it did, the starting offensive line thus far, which you want that to be the case in your last preseason game going into the regular season.
Yes.
That offensive line started to solidify a little bit. And, even Tevin Jenkins being his second game playing the position, didn't see nothing I didn't like out there, No. And Braxton Jones held his own over there again. Larry Borum didn't see much happening over there. Maybe a little bit of pressure up the middle on Mustipher, but that happens every game. But it's not like he's totally getting his ass whipped. But he allowed a little pressure. So yes. I like what I saw, especially on that side of the ball.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you, Nomad. Like, I didn't even after they took Justin Fields out of the game. I don't know what happened after that. I was so excited. I started preparing for the show and just getting stuff ready and trying to get post pregame, send stuff out to let everyone know that we're going to be doing the show and tweet a couple of things and trying to get ready to leave Florida to go back to where we live so we can do our podcast on Monday from home. And it's been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks for me. So I'm just, a little bit behind on a couple of things. And watching this game tonight, I got enough of what I wanted to see personally out of the starting offense that I left it up to you to just give the broader perspective of what happened after Justin Fields came out of the game, because I know you were watching it from the perspective that I should have been watching it from, not having all the shit that's going on with me, trying to, I have to pack up all this shit that I'm using right here to go back home. It's a process. So I saw, what I wanted to see. I was hoping for, we talked about it in the pregame. If we could have gotten 2 touchdown drives out of Justin Fields, I would have been happy. And I've said that before, but we got 0 and then 1 in the first 2 games, right? The first 2 preseason games. I said it again, and here we are, 3 and 5 drives. I'm just so freaking jacked right now that I thought my buddy's got it. He's got the rest of the game for me. I can just go off and exasperate myself and just do some stuff to get ready for the show here tonight. And then I'll leave it up to you to talk about what happened for the rest of the game, because I'm just going to be honest. I'm just being honest. Justin Fields, it blew my mind. The pass, those 3 touchdown passes were just fucking beautiful. Beautiful. Sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. There's just been so many months of hatred and so much shitting on Justin Fields, and these are all the things that I knew we were going to see from him. And I know it's only preseason. Everyone can say what they want to about it being just preseason, but when you stack, we've talked about it. You have a new regime, a new coaching staff, a new head coach. You stack wins upon wins. Now we have confidence going into the season. We are playing a Niners team with basically a rookie quarterback who did not look that good the other night. I don't bet, but if I did, I would definitely be taking the Bears to beat the Niners in the first game of the season based on what we've seen from the Bears and the Niners. Went on a complete rant right there. Sorry if you wanted to talk about something else. I'm just so high on I've been saying this all night. I've been smoking Bears weed, and I'm high on the Justin Fields strain. That's what it is. I'm just over the top right now. This is exactly what I wanted to see going into the season. It could not have been better. So many things have aligned in tonight's game for the starting unit, both offense and defense. And God damn, does that feel good. Sorry. You got the floor.
No, man. I you know what, man? When you were texting me during the game, I was just like, you know what? Red carpet got to get rolled out. He's got to get that out of him, man. And I saw so many good things, man. I'm going to start with Justin real quick. One thing that stuck out to me with him was how he was his eye mechanics, the way he was reading his progressions down the field. It was really quick, really snappy. He even got to the point, and actually one of the commentators, I think it might have been Miller, what's his name, Mark Miller or whatever his name is.
Matt Miller.
Yeah, Matt Miller pointed it out that he was using his eyes as candy and tricking the safeties and DBs into leaving something open, and he did that with that little pass over to the edge on the sidelines to Pettis. It was nice, man. It was just nice seeing him go through his progressions and trusting his eyes. And when he seen something, he saw it with conviction, and he drilled that fucking ball in there, like that touchdown to Griffin. I mean, he just that's not a he hammered that motherfucker in there. I mean, he hammered it.
Dude, he did. Just perfect placement of the ball on that first. Every single touchdown pass was perfect placement on the ball. The third one rolling to his right, just faking it. He kept going through it. Perfect touch, perfect pass. Like, yes. Everything we want to see out of him, right? We want to see the rollouts. We've been bitching about the scheme for a while in the Nagy era. Like, the percentage of passes that that were positive out of the out of a rollout, and they only ran it like 9 times or whatever the entire time last season. There's some ridiculous stats when it was like that's what he did the best, and we're seeing a lot of that in the preseason. And they're still doing it vanilla. So the fact that they're giving you vanilla shit and they're still showing you the stuff that works for Fields, just I know once the season starts, everything changes. But I'm going to ride this high right now like a professional Bears fan because that's what we do, right? Got to ride this. Got to ride these highs.
Everything he did today was pretty crisp. I know everybody was kind of a little, oh, here we go again when he came out with that first drive and it kind of stalled and all that stuff. They kind of were trying to establish the run. And you got to remember, Cleveland kind of runs a similar offense, pretty much the same offense. And they practice against that every fucking day of camp. So they were ready for everything on the ground. So if you weren't gonna bust out your colorful run plays, then they were gonna pretty much stop that.
Right.
But however, they turned it up a notch in that second drive, and the quick pass game that was really crispy, man. He was getting that ball out really quick to the backs and whatever they were doing in the quick game, and it looked really good, man. So you know, without having to spend too much time talking about Justin Fields, I can go on all night just like you with that. There were a lot of good things.
But yeah, we could talk. I could talk about it for the entire show, but we shouldn't do that. But to what you were saying, the final drive was like even though it wasn't a 2-minute drive, they knew they weren't going to get the ball back again, and there was going to be the last drive of the starting offense with Fields in it, and they treated it like a 2-minute drive, and boom, 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 touchdown. Just impressive, exciting, refreshing.
Yeah, all of that and a bag of chips. Remember, think about this: the offense was very vanilla. Cleveland is a very good defense. I don't care if Clowney and Garrett was out there. That's a very good defense. And they were missing 3 weapons. That means Pringle. That means Velus Jones. That means what is his name? Ebner?
Treston Ebner.
Forget the person. Treston Ebner. Missing 3 important weapons that they plan on utilizing in this season. So think about that. They went out there minus 3 important weapons and were able to execute very fucking well.
They were. Several offensive weapons. I mean, players like Dante Pettis finally showed up.
Right now, he's bumping somebody to fuck off. He's on the team.
You think so?
Tell you that now. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because we saw a big game from Tajay Sharp the first game, right? It's crazy how the preseason works. You see the first game, you're like, oh, this player and this player, they're going to be, oh, well, we're keeping these guys. They're awesome. Then you see jack shit from the rest of the preseason, and then you start to see other players just come out of nowhere and play well. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, this guy that I never thought was going to make the team is going to make the team now. And I could see that from what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So
no question.
What the 53-man roster gets broken down when?
Monday
I don't even
or
know.
Tuesday.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, and that's a whole different conversation, which we'll have for another day. But we saw some players that could have maybe changed some minds today, right, to make the team.
Listen, man. I see Jeff Barber in there, and he's got a good point, especially with Greg Stroman. Isaiah Coulter made some plays. Yes, he did. Did he make enough to warrant a spot on that team? That means he's got to bump somebody like, I'm talking about Isaiah Coulter. That means he's got to bump somebody like Dante Pettis, and I don't see that happening.
Well, who's the better special teams player?
Between Coulter and Pettis?
Yeah.
Easily Pettis. Easily. Coulter is not going to – I don't think he's going to make it unless it's on special teams. And so, and he also mentioned Greg Stroman, who also did perform very well today. Don't know if he's going to make it, but he made a case for himself to be at least looked at as that last defensive back, somebody like Thomas Graham, who hasn't touched the field, I don't know, man. I also seen some very curious situations out there. Like Travis Gibson pretty much played the whole game. The whole game. That's unusual for a guy that's projected to be a starter or a backup. Something's not right there. Something they see something in Travis Gibson that they think either he shows me this during this game, give him the whole 4 quarters to do it, or we may have to look to move him and get something else. Something strange there.
Do you think that they did it just because they wanted to give him the extra time in the 4-3 defense as opposed to being in the 3-4 the last 2 years?
Well, no, they're looking for something, whether it be his ability to get off.
No, huh?
No, I'm telling you, they were looking for something out of him. You don't play a guy that's projected to could be a starter or a second teamer 4 quarters. You don't do that. You don't do that. They wanted to see something out of Travis Gibson that they hadn't seen thus far. Maybe there's some juice around the edge or see him play better in the run game. Something is not quite right about that. And I don't know if Travis Gibson showed them what they were looking for, but that's fucking curious. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. To be playing that much of the game.
Yeah.
Jeff Barber says they like kind of the same thing that I said, that they think they just want to see more reps from Gibson in the new defense. But
I don't know.
I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe they're looking for some. Maybe they're not seeing what they want to see out of him. Right? I don't. Who the hell knows? But I like how you said "fuck no." You're that confident in that.
That when you see certain things out there, and just from my football instincts and knowing how coaches think and how and why they do things, it didn't make sense to play Travis Gibson a whole 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. I can understand putting Crookshank was out there pretty much the whole game. I understand he hasn't touched the grass pretty much the whole offseason. I mean, he hasn't been out there.
That was like the first game I remember seeing him in. Yeah.
Yeah, the OTAs, he hasn't been out there much at all. He needed to be on the grass.
He was the one guy who did not hear much about at all. Yeah.
Gibson hasn't missed a beat, and he played 4 fucking quarters. That needs to throw up a flag in your head.
Okay. Well, I got that. I'm putting that down on my Nomad notes for a future show.
Subject of a trade or something. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe it's just that they were just trying to get more reps out of him. Who knows? But it's curious what you're saying. It brings up a good point. And just for everyone, and like Jeff Barber, just so you know, in case you missed what I said, I was so goddamn high on the Justin Fields portion of the game that I just started doing all things podcast and stuff related, and I kind of missed the rest of the game. And we're relying on Nomad over here to give us kind of the breakdown of what happened for the second part of the game, because I've been a Justin Fields lover from day one, and all the hate that's been going on, we finally got to see some excellence out of him that should shut up the haters. And so just for the record, for the new people that have come into are now watching or in the chat, I didn't watch much after that. So we're literally relying on Nomad and people in chat to kind of tell us whatever happened in the rest of the game, because sorry, I'm human. Sorry.
Hang on 1 second. Let me let my cat out. She won't leave me alone.
Let that damn cat out. Is that some kind of code for taking a shit or something? Because the last time you said they had to pay the water bill, I literally thought you were writing a fucking check and putting it in the mail.
No, that's literally what I said. I had to let a goddamn feline out that wouldn't leave me alone.
Okay.
What were you saying?
The last time you said that, you're like, I gotta pay the water bill. You like disappeared for like 2 minutes. I was like, that takes him a while to write a fucking check. He's probably putting it in the mailbox.
Hey, you know,
I didn't know if let the cat out was code for take a shit. Sorry.
Look at that comment in there, Jeff Baker. So basically, Tuggle fumbled it at the Bears 11-yard line with 11-40. Yeah, and they took his ass out of there, and he might not ever see the fucking field again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know, that was hard to look at.
Yeah. I didn't see it. Sorry. By that point, I was probably doing something for the podcast because, like I said, fumbling on the 11-yard line when you're up 21-14, not good. That's not a good chance to make the team when you're like a fifth. We have enough running backs. Although he could go on to like the Niners or something and become the next Raheem Morris for all we know.
He's a good fucking running back. You know, he
is.
And I watched the play in slow motion, and right when the player was coming up to make the hit in that strip, he was getting his arm over to get ready to protect the ball, but it was a little too late, and the guy got the punch out. And he pulled him right out of the game, and he never seen the field again. That could be the end of Tuggle. That doesn't mean he's a bad football player. That dude's a nice-looking running back.
No, I agree. He is. He's quick. He's quick to the hole. He's got quick burst. He's got a nice running. He's got that good running back form. One stupid fumble like that, I mean, he wasn't going to make the team anyway, really. So all he's doing is hurting his chances for the next team. But I think they have enough of him on tape to realize that he could be, he could work on someone else's team. What do you think about this next question from Jeff? Do you think guys do you guys think N'Keal? Sorry, it's after game. We've been drinking and shit. Do you guys think N'Keal Harry is a roster lock or not? I mean, we have not seen him, but at the same time, we have a 7th rounder for him. You want to go first, Nomad? It's a good question.
That's on you. You can take it if you want. I got something for it, but I'll wait.
I think they're gonna keep him on what is he on, the PUP or the IR?
Well, no, it's IR.
So if he's on IR, they'll keep him on the team. I think they're going to keep him on the team until they figure out what they have at wide receiver, and if they get into like any rough spots, and they can cut someone, like if they keep like a Pettis or something like that, and he's just not doing well enough. I think that Poles would kind of back into the fact that he traded a pick, because I think he treats picks like gold. Like you and I probably would, at least I know I would treat picks like gold if I was a GM. Unlike Ryan Pace, who treated them like they were pennies. So I think that he wouldn't want to feel stupid for trading, even though it was a 7th round pick, for a wide receiver that could possibly be something. And I don't think that he saw enough out of him based on the time when he got the injury. And so therefore, I think Poles is going to keep his investment in the 7th round pick, and whatever it might take, whoever's underperforming on the team could find themselves put on the practice squad if they're eligible, or just flat out cut to probably keep N'Keal Harry, because it all kind of depends on, what even St. Brown is doing at the time too. So I think he's using it as an insurance policy to back up his own insurance policy, right, for the 7th round pick. That's my answer.
Well, let me tell you my way of thinking about N'Keal Harry, the N'Keal Harry situation. Yes, he spent the pick to get N'Keal Harry, and some unfortunate events happened where N'Keal Harry got injured. Mm-hmm. We need guys right now. He's going to put him on IR. I'm just going to try to think like Ryan Poles would probably be thinking. He's going to use that situation, put him on IR, see how he's progressing, and then use somebody we may have on the team, maybe in a trade, to see if he can get a pick back. Maybe a 7th rounder, a 6th rounder. It could be a couple of picks. But I don't think, I'm just going to be honest with you, I don't think N'Keal Harry is a good enough talent, has a good enough versatility as a football player. Like, there was a time people were talking about, Tajay Sharp wouldn't make the team because N'Keal Harry's there. I keep Tajay Sharp in the 2nd before I kept N'Keal Harry, not because I think N'Keal Harry is a bad football player. I just think Tajay Sharp has more versatility.
Me too.
And so, I would look at it in this way. Think about what Poles could do to get that pick back, that 7th round pick back. with some of the guys we have on the roster and just be done with that situation when they kill Harry. I don't know. Maybe they value him more than I think they do and they keep him, but I just don't see that being productive, having him on IR that long when we need receiver help.
That's an interesting perspective on that. That's another way to think of it. That's a good idea. I mean, it's God, there's so many ways everything could go from here on out that we have 2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of talk and speculation and just fun going on this next couple of weeks as we gear up for that first game of the season. And I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun to do this with you, talking about that shit, Nomad. I know that much.
Sounds like Cliff said the cut downs. He's saying Tuesday. You might be right, man. It's Monday or Tuesday, but it's before you know it. I don't think they're gonna wait until Tuesday. They'll probably start cutting people pretty quick.
Yeah,
sometime in the morning you just see a round or two of cuts.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it happens. I mean, we played the final game. They know who's going to make the team and who's not going to make the team. So we'll start to see some trickling out the door by tomorrow, I'm sure.
Jeff Barber saying something interesting in there.
A surprise cut candidate, huh?
Tell me, Jeff, what made you? I mean, that's some contractual shit right there. What Jeff is talking about, like if we keep him, we're gonna owe him a certain amount of money if he plays a certain amount of games. And you said he looked bad. Yes, he did, but he hasn't played the whole preseason.
Right.
So you got to consider that as well.
That was like his warm-up game for the season. But who like what other tackles do we have behind him?
Well, that's the whole thing. Can you get better at that position, letting O'Reilly Reef go, or do you keep O'Reilly Reef because it's not a good enough couple of tackles out there that you can scoop up, in free agency after cuts? Some teams are tackle heavy, some teams are guard heavy, receiver heavy, all over the field. I mean, some of these guys out there, and I'm gonna get into this on the Monday podcast if we do it.
We are doing it. We are doing it Monday.
There's a lot of really good talent from teams that are going to be cut because teams are overloaded at certain positions, and so you shouldn't look down on a lot of these cuts. It's just teams are overloaded at certain positions, and you got to let somebody go.
Right,
you don't want to.
We're going to be seeing a lot of players that we like that were drafted that are probably going to be cut. So, or UDFAs from last year that we really liked that we thought would make the team that are going to be cut. And there's going to be a lot of people pissed off about certain things, certain cuts. And there's going to be a lot of people that are happy about certain cuts. But I myself, I know there's like certain cuts I would be upset with, and I know you're going to have those, and so is everybody else here in chat. It's just going to, it's the nature of the beast. It's whatever. We don't know what they see in the team and the players, and when you're talking about, like in this case, tackle, who could possibly? So you've got Braxton Jones, you've got Larry Borum, you've got Riley Reef, and you've got who? Coleman after that.
Coleman. You talking about tackles?
Yeah.
You got Reef, you got Coleman, you had Davenport, but he's gone. And then you got probably DeLance is still there. He hadn't got cut yet, but I don't think he's played.
Yeah, he hasn't really done much. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a practice squad guy. Like, I'll tell you another interesting situation was with Jatiri Carter. I thought he was hurt because he didn't touch the field the whole game. And then all of a sudden, here it came in the fourth quarter, Jatiri Carter pops up on the field. I'm like, whoa, maybe they have him. And I looked at that. I was like, oh, no, they can't cut that dude, man. That dude is a solid fucking guard.
I know.
So maybe they got him playing on being on the practice squad for a time. So that's just the way I saw that.
I would almost cut Schofield and keep him. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with Schofield in his contract, but I don't remember it being like that big of a deal when they signed him. So you would think he would be an easy cut to keep someone like Tyree Carter, because I feel like if you put him on the practice squad, you could lose him, you know?
You do that. You want to make sure you got a proper mix of veterans and rookies at each position, whether it be guard, center, tackle. You want to make sure you have a proper mix of veterans and rookies so that you don't get overwhelmed with a bunch of youth and that's all you have to lean on. You want to make sure you got some veteran help at each position. So if you cut Schofield, what do you have left at guard that's a veteran besides Whitehair on the other side?
Yeah.
Look at it that way.
Yeah. So then maybe Zach Taylor makes a team.
Man, I don't know. It's gonna be a whole lot of speculation going on with these guys and who makes the 53 and why. It's a whole bunch of interesting scenarios I've seen play out there. I tell you, somebody who stepped up their case. Elijah Hicks had a pretty good game. Dieter had a pretty good game. I saw, and I told you Greg Stroman played pretty well. Tevin you didn't see anything over on his side of the ball, or Larry Borum. I don't remember anything. And remember, guys, I watched the game just like everyone else. The initial time, I don't sit there and rewind it. I don't sit there and try to critique it. I enjoy it as a fan. And sometime Monday, maybe I'll have a little bit more detail. But from what I've seen on the surface initially, there's a lot of good things from that offensive line that I liked.
Me too, man. Me too. That's where some of the I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment in some of the cuts from the offensive line from a lot of fans, right?
No question. Who was that saying that? Oh yeah. That whole conversation. We got 2 weeks for that.
Oh yeah, we got 2
weeks.
Yeah, we can talk about who will be on the team and all that shit for the next couple of weeks. Let's talk about the defense right now. We've been talking about the offense, Justin Fields, the offensive line. Maybe we didn't really touch on the running backs. We could kind of do that for a second. Herbert had a good game.
Hold on. Can I get a quick rant?
Oh, please,
just a quick one, really quick.
Hold on. Cue up the banner. Nomad rant.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do it. It's not really a rant. I just want to point something out for people out there talking about, just dismissing these guys at these different positions. Bottom of the barrel, Coley. Trayvon Coley. That motherfucker lived in the backfield the whole game. He probably ran out of a little bit of gas towards the end. Late in the fourth quarter, he ran to a couple of double teams here and there. But that motherfucker lived in the backfield. So bottom of the barrel, my ass. Stop dismissing these guys just because they bounced around a couple of teams, got cut a few times, or whatever. Stop dismissing these guys. These are NFL football players.
He missed the entire year last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right. So if he's getting into form, and he looked that good. Seriously.
People see these guys on the waiver wire, or see a GM pick up a guy off of somebody's cut. And they just immediately just dismiss these guys like they're not human. Like, oh yeah, he's just a 7th round pick. He's been cut 2 or 3 times. Dude, you just don't understand that it takes a lot to stay on a team in this league. Dude, things are going to happen. You could be in a situation where you were just in the wrong situation on the wrong style of defense or offense and with the wrong coaches. And all of a sudden you get to a team that allows you to do the things that you do well. And they emphasize that for you and say, hey, you know what? Get out there and do that shit that you do well and just go. And all of a sudden, boom, it comes on. And all that bottom of the barrel shit goes out the window. Now he's performing for you. but you've dismissed him already. So and diminish the guy, like that aggravates me, man. I don't like when people do that. These guys work too fucking hard to be dismissive of them like that.
Every person's person. Good. That was a good rant. Thank you. I'll give you a rant back, right? I will counter rant you right now. Every person has a different personality, right? You get Joe over here that doesn't jive with Jack, and Jack is the head coach. And Joe has this personality, and Jack has that personality. Well, Joe over here needs Jack to have that personality. So Joe gets taken to a team that they don't jive. Like, you got some coaches that are more introverted and they're bigger pricks, right? They demand more, they ask less. They just, let's just take, for example, Mike Martz, the asshole who didn't want Greg Olson to be in his system. People like that where certain personalities just don't jive with certain personalities. We all know what I'm talking about. So you talk about different players going to different teams. All of a sudden, they hire you, they sign you, you come onto this team. You don't mesh well with that coaching staff, with just your personality wise, right? And then all of a sudden you start to develop like mental issues because you can't perform the way that you want to perform because this coach doesn't think of you as, you're always worried about how they think of you back and forth. And once if you get cut and then you begin your season anew on a different team, and then Jack jives or Joe jives with Joe now, right? So now you're on the same level. You're able to communicate with each other at the same level, and then boom, now there's some comfort that develops with that. There's the player becomes more relaxed. The coach is, because he's relaxed, the player is able to trust in the coach because they're able to have good dialogue instead of have shitty banter. And now all of a sudden you're able to play better because you're not worried about certain things. You're not thinking about certain things. You're comfortable with your coaching staff. These are all like little stupid minuscule things that nobody thinks about because it is life. We all have difficulties in life, right? If you don't like where you live, fucking move, because it could just be the area that you live in is it doesn't work well with your mental state. But you go and you move from there to a different state or a different town or different neighborhood, and you feel better about yourself. It's all about everyone's own perception and how they interact with other people that view or disview them for whatever reason. And so that's just where the entire mismatch of the entire NFL becomes it really, when you start thinking about it, you really have to think about the minuscules of that and the human aspect of it. There's my rant for you.
No, that's dead on, man. And that's part of the Monday show. I'm just gonna tease it a little bit more. I want Bears fans to start that human aspect you just said, back off a little bit and stop looking at, where somebody might have been drafted at, the metrics and the analytics of, right. And stop letting that be your bar on how you measure who these guys are. They're young people going through turbulent situations, stressed out bodies physically. And sometimes it's all about, all the time it's all about timing. And it's all about the right environment. So I don't care where we get a player from, where he's been through, what he's been through. You can get him just at the right time and put him in the right environment, and that young man will flourish. So Look at it that way. Right. Look at it that way.
That's the summary of my rant. Yes. Like, everyone is different. All people are different, from coaches to players, and everyone has to, even coaches don't find their own niche in the right system. And, you have coaches that failed in systems and on teams and have left and gone to other teams and won Super Bowls. So it's the same thing for players. If the coaches didn't jive well with the owners of the team, it didn't work well, and they had to move on to a different team. Then you have players that are, it trickles down. And there's going to be a lot of players that got cut today that are going to be fucking stars in the NFL on some other team someday. I guarantee you that for sure.
without question.
You got the fucking crickets going on again, Nomad?
It's probably one in my basement again. You hear him?
Yeah. Don't let any long pauses go between you and I talking, because then you hear crickets. God damn it. And then blah, 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 and blah, 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 and then silence with fucking crickets for 3 seconds, and you're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah.
I just never know when you're going to stop, man. Just like you don't. We just learning chemistry, man.
Well, you're also probably on a little bit of a delay from me, right? In reality.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
You're like 1,200 miles north of me.
Yeah, it's what I expect is there's going to be.
You got to put some cricket killer in that basement of yours, man.
What do you kill crickets with?
A fucking exterminator. A cricket exterminator.
I just let the spiders get them. They got to eat something.
Well, fucking put some more spiders in your basement then.
Hold on, let me close the door. Not myself. I really hear him now. You had to start that shit. Thanks, man.
For everyone in chat, there was somebody in comments that put 3 crickets, and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And I realized, oh, there's always crickets in the goddamn background of Nomad.
Yeah, man. I think I got a few cracks in my foundation, and they're just sneaking in there.
Cliff, dude, you're from Illinois. Geckos don't live in Illinois. Yeah. Geckos are Florida.
Look, man, I tell these Bears fans something right now, and I've been preaching it pretty much the whole off season. And as I've seen these guys bring in the front office and bring in the coaches, and the tone and tenor that these guys, it sounded so cliche. These guys coming in here talking about hits, but now you're starting to see the fruits of the labor, and you're starting to see the seeds that were planted early on. You're starting to see it pay off. Like, I don't remember seeing, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, like, I don't remember seeing one offensive lineman jump off sides the whole preseason. May have got a holding call or two, but that's it. Didn't see very many of those on defense either. Didn't see very many penalties at all.
That's a great point. I don't remember that either. What was the one penalty during the Justin Fields series that was it like a false start or something?
Say it again.
Well, as we have already stated, I only watched like the Justin Fields portion of the game, so there was only one penalty that I saw in that portion of it, and I think that was a false start.
No, I think Ryan Griffin or somebody got a tug, got a holding.
Oh yeah, it was a holding. It was a holding.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But nothing else. It was a couple of holds, I think, on both sides of the ball. No, I don't think it was a hold on the other side of the ball. It was a hold on the offensive side, and unnecessary roughness on the defensive side. Maybe I can't remember much more than that, but wow, were they disciplined? I mean, wow.
Dude,
the discipline was off the chain.
I forgot that I had a whole list of notes here to talk about, and now that was one of them. Like, that was very impressive. Another thing I wanted to talk about was, well, it's kind of off subject, but you could tell how David Montgomery grew up a Walter Payton fan with the way he just runs the ball. Like, he had that one run tonight that could almost been another angry run on NFL Network. Just plowing through people. Sorry, I got off subject. I had a list of notes and I wanted to talk about them, and I just pulled it up because I realized it's getting a little late. So
go ahead and empty your notepad.
Oh, I want to talk about like how I guess we already kind of touched on it. Like, how many plays are you supposed to watch a game? Like, you can only watch one play during the game. So as you're watching the game in real time, you're just looking at the player that you're trying to watch, right? So once we like finally break down this entire game and watch it again and can like actually go over the plays with specific players that we were looking at, this entire podcast is just based on post game information as we saw it in real time during the game, right? And when you're watching a game, you can only really just focus on the player you're watching at the current time, whether it's Tevin Jenkins or Justin Fields or Larry Borum or David Montgomery or so-and-so. You know, once we get done with this entire podcast, we'll be going back and rewatching the game, and then we'll be talking about this again on Monday night when we do our live podcast with our guests that we're going to have on. Sorry, I got completely off subject there. I just realized I had a list of notes here and I hadn't even addressed them. And then when you put me on the spot to read them, I realized they were way off base of what we were just talking about.
And somebody in the chat can tell me what they thought was the best play of the game. Easily, to me, the best play of the game was that Kyler Gordon play when he was stuck. He was one-on-one with a tight end out of the slot, and the tight end came off the line and really got into him and pushed him back. Just uses just size and weight against him and just pushed him back. And Kyler read the play, regained his footing, kinda, and his positioning, got his alignment together, broke on that play, and broke that ball up, dove and broke it up. I mean, for a DB, I gotta be honest. I'm a DB, and that kind of stuff, it'll give you a woody, because you see stuff like that from a rookie. I mean, he's a rookie. That kind of stuff.
Right there, I had it. Kyler Gordon circled. Thank you.
Gee whiz, that was the best play of the game. I've seen some good stuff out there, but that was the best play of the game.
Gee whiz, it sure was. Gee fucking whiz. But that play didn't count because it was a holding on the offense, which sucked.
Yeah.
So he didn't get the actual pass breakup. But I know what you're talking about. That play was fucking spectacular. And then I got pissed off that it was an actual holding on the Browns because he didn't get credit for the play.
And you know what, Shorty? He gave you a snapshot of what these fucking coaches in practice are so animated about with this guy. He gave you a flash of it. Mm-hmm. He's been doing this shit all fucking off season, and he just showed you a flash. He took you a picture, like this is what I got.
Dude, he did. Finally, please remain healthy, Kyler Gordon, so we can get you into the beginning of the season. We can start the season with you and just see where we can take this team with him as our nickelback. Because, oh man, it was good to see that, wasn't it?
Siggy is damn right, man. I give birth to DBs like I'm a fucking mother. I train them, I raise them. Yeah, hell yeah. Let me find somebody with some good traits and good qualities and got a good mind on them. I will go out there and train him.
Really?
Oh yeah, I haven't done anything this year, but people keep calling me, and I don't have the time to do it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking train him.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're too busy with Bears Country Podcast right now, though.
That and other stuff I got going on, but hell yeah.
I know.
It's some guys I trained out of Atlanta. Like I said, I don't drop names, but a couple of them are playing in the league. One of them's at Oregon right now. And I raise them.
You shouldn't be telling what college they're going to. People can figure that out.
I could tell them Oregon. You never find out who it is.
Well, what else? What else you have to say, Nomad? Anything you want to wrap this up with?
No, man. You got personal stuff you got to take care of, and obligations call you to be doing other things. So you can go ahead and put a wrap on it, man.
Let's put a bow tie on this and just wrap this up, man. Like, what a great game from the starting offense. There's a lot of potential there on the offensive line. We saw Justin Fields just light shit up. He had some vengeance against the team that sacked him 9 times last year, even though the 2 starting defensive ends weren't in the game. And it's only fucking preseason. However, we can still take some solace in the fact that this team has been building game upon game. They've been stacking game upon game. The defense looks really good. Not very many penalties in the games. You're seeing the hustle, the intensity. You're seeing the will and the drive. You're seeing the coaching influence pay off on these players, the draft picks, the new players of the team, the players that remain from the last regime. You're seeing the buy-in from everyone. You're from Eddie Jackson in press conferences with his beautiful giant smile, all glowing, talking about the hits principle when at the beginning of the season he just sat there like not looking like he was very happy with it, to, you know, some of the UDFAs panning out. There's a lot of hope and optimism that we should all take from this preseason, this new regime, this new coaching staff, this new staff of general managers and so on, and assistant general managers. I think that it's going to be really interesting to see in the next few weeks how the national media perceives this as a different perspective to this fanboy myself perspective and fanboy yourself perspective of how much they either compare or contrast to each other. And that's going to be interesting because we've been seeing nothing but shit on the Bears pretty much all nationally, but locally there has been a lot of shitting on the Bears too. So you and I have both called, I'm going to write it down. I'm just going to write this down. You and I both have this as our record for the season.
You better be 11-6.
We are not fucking backing down from it. 11-6, baby. Or 11-6 or bust, baby.
We putting that on a shirt soon, goddammit. We're going to put that shit on a shirt because we're going to fucking live up to that.
And
we're going to live up to that.
We're going to live up to it. We are. Because Justin Fields just stacked games, got better, got his payback for his arch nemesis rookie starting the first team he ever started against. I think the sky is looking up for this team as long as we can avoid COVID in the next couple of weeks. We get into the beginning of the season healthy. Man, the sky is the limit for this team. Let's all remain optimistic. Until that, or I should say until we talk to you Monday night, because Nomad and I are also doing our live streaming on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have Brad Barron from Unbearable Sports joining us. He's going to be our guest that evening, and we're going to be breaking down the projection of what we think the roster will be at that time based on some of the cuts that are probably going to be made by then. And also, please stay tuned for Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, because we also do have a very special announcement to make. And we hope you are all there to join us live, because it's going to be pretty cool. So until then, Nomad, Kitty, love you both. Love all you in chat. And go ahead, Nomad. You want to start it?
No, you go ahead and finish it, man.
No, you want to say your bear down?
All right, everybody, man. This was a rough podcast because we were so excited. So sorry about the clunkiness, but on the way out the door, bear the fuck down.
Bear the fuck down. Bears.